Because one of the biggest labels that we have on the Shia school of thought is that we place the Imams and the Ahlul Bayt. Thank you very much. Jazakallah. We place the Imams and the Ahlul Bayt at a level of Allah, where we don't ask Allah for anything, we ask the Imams directly. It's a very large topic. It requires immense amount of detail. In the 10 minutes that I have, I want to make sure that we leave here with a little bit of a bunyad so we can build on that on our own. The example I'll give you is very simple. We're in school, for example, and the entire semester we had this one course of ours that's extremely difficult for us. And come exam time, according to your calculation, you have to score, let's say, a 61 on the exam to pass the course. Now, all throughout the semester, you've been trying extremely hard to understand the material. You've attended classes, you've done the homework, you've approached the teacher, you've done the extra work, you've put forth the effort. You write the exam, you come out of the exam, the teacher calls you and says, look, you got a 60 on your final exam. 1 mark off. Now if you ask the teacher, look professor, look prof, you've seen me all semester struggle and work hard. 1 mark, just 1 mark. Are you able to kind of push me through? And he stops and thinks, okay, this person put forth the effort, I see him come to class, I saw him do the homework, I saw him ask me a few questions, and so in his mercy and his kindness, he gives you the 61 and you pass through the course. That's one scenario. Second scenario is the exact same course, exact same scenario. 61 you need on the exam to pass the course. You get a 35. And you don't come to class, you don't do any homework, you don't call the teacher, nothing. Now when he calls you and says you got a 35, at this moment if you were to say, come on, prof, an extra 25 marks won't kill you. At that moment, the Prophet would laugh at you and say, on what proof do you have that I should give you those extra 25 marks? Fine, if you had a bad day on your exam, fine, but you didn't come to class, you didn't even do the homework, you never called me for any assistance, you never came to labs, tutorials, nothing. You never showed any effort during the semester, and now you want a passing grade? Doesn't work that way. On the Day of Judgment, when we beg Allah, and we beg the Prophets and the Ahlul Bayt for shafa'at and intercession, they'll either say, look, you attended class, you did your homework, you prayed your salat, you were close to me, you did your best to understand Islam, you're good to your family, you're good to your community, you treated those guests who come from Toronto very well. All these things you did, and now a little bit of your amal went this way or that way. You know what, inshallah, in Allah's mercy, in the Prophet's mercy, He'll add a few salawats to your amal deed and you'll move on your way, inshallah. Now, there comes number 2. All of a sudden, we have a hadith that says man is sleeping, when he dies, he wakes up. Now you have a man who has no sort of connection to the deen whatsoever. No connection at all. Not on the outside, not on the inside. In Pakistan, in Iran, in India, in Lebanon, in Iraq, mashallah, he was very good. He belonged to a very humble, very religious family. Everything was fantastic. He comes here, he says, ooh, this is freedom, man. This is where it's at. Brings out the razor. The first thing that goes is the beard. She is off the beard, whips off the hijab. Everything is just Western. I'm American now. I'm not Iranian, I'm not Pakistani, I'm not Hindi, I'm not none of that stuff. No connection to the deen whatsoever. No namaz, no Ramadan. He shows up on day of Ashura in Sabah Center and that's it. He passes away. Now comes Hisab and Kitab, accountability. He says, come on, Prophet of Allah, come on. You know I meant well, just get me through. And do you think that the Prophet of Allah for a moment would think, yes, this person is worthy of my intercession? So a number of things that our individuals in our faith don't understand. that the first thing is you have to be worthy of intercession. You have to show effort and mehnat in this world to even have hopes of the next world. We believe for a moment that we shed a few tears for Imam Hussein in the month of Muharram, but all throughout the year, his entire mission was on one side, our life is on the other, and we think for a moment that heaven is ours. It's not that simple. That's why Maulana Ali says if you're going to sell your nafs, sell it for a value higher than heaven. Because that's exactly what you're selling. You're selling heaven right now. So let's try to understand for a moment that this concept of relying on intercession, relying on shafa'at, having this idea of dua tawassul on Tuesday nights, this concept of not only the imams, our parents can do shafa'at, the Quran can do shafa'at. We have what's called mujassam a'mal in our books. That our amal, some of them will come in the form of a jism, of an actual body. We have an amal in the month of Rajab called Amal Dawood. On the 15th of Rajab, we have this beautiful amal. And one of the specialties of this amal is this concept, where this amal will come to you in your grave as a very beautiful nurani face. And in that darkness of darkness, when you look at that face, you ask yourself, who are you? He'll say, I am that amal Dawood that you performed on this falan year at this falan place. So we have this concept where our deeds will come to us, inshallah, and will intercede on our behalf. I mentioned that yesterday. That one of the things that our women and our mothers and our wives have in terms of their intercession is the idea of their husbands being somebody who is happy with them, content with them. And that's one of the things that we have in terms of our books, is this concept of intercession is just that. You're interceding on our behalf. And the same way in this world. It's funny how when it comes to the deen, we throw all the examples out the window. If you're looking for a job, my brothers and my sisters, a very simple example. You're looking for a job in a certain company, and you come to find out that your cousin knows the CEO of that company. Or your cousin knows the head of HR in that company. What would you do? You call up your cousin and say, look, here's my resume. Go do your thing. Get me a job. And he comes to the CEO and says, look, my cousin's a good guy, hire him. He's interceding on your behalf. That's okay to accept. But to accept the fact that our prophets and our Ahlul Bayt who have come as divine guidance for us, to help us on the Day of Judgment, that's a far-fetched notion. That's something that they cannot accept. For the Quran to come and say, I am the Quran that you used to read every night before going to bed, I am here to guide you. That concept, for many of us, we don't get it. But, the condition is what? The condition is that you have to come to class, do your homework, attend tutorials, look like you want to pass the course, look like you want to go to heaven, look like you want to accept Islam. And then if you're a little bit this way or that way, then we ask Allah, please, give permission to the Prophet of Allah, give permission to Imam Hussein to intercede on my behalf and outweigh the scale towards good, inshallah. But let's think about it logically for a second. Non-Shias, non-Muslims don't accept this concept. Or maybe a very few do. But we have to defend that concept first inside of us. But not this misconceived notion that live your life how you want to live your life. Inshallah, Imam Hussein will take your tears and will lead you to heaven. I'm sorry, brother. I don't mean to burst your bubble. That's not the case at all. Yes, we have hadiths that say that those who cry for Imam Hussein, they'll taste heaven, provided you do all this as well. Otherwise, the problem that we have with a certain sect of Christianity is just that. They believe that live your life how you want to live your life. Come the Day of Judgment, Jesus Christ will stand in front of you, take the hit for those sins that you did, purify yourself, and you're going to heaven. That whole concept is unjust in our eyes. We don't accept that to be Allah's justice. They say in this society, if I did the crime, I do the time. It's me. It's only fair that because it was my body and my soul that walked to that haram place and did that haram act, it's this body and this soul that get punished. Why should the Prophet of Allah get punished for my for my bad deeds. So this concept, let's be careful. Let's not think for a moment that Imam Hussein, Maulana Ali, Imam Zamana, these are all there so we can have an easy akhirat. They're there to guide us. If we clutch the rope of their guidance, our akhirat will be easy inshallah, provided the mehnat comes